I'm Raite Arcuri. Today I will be reviewing the Sigma 30mm 1.4 lens for the APS-C mirrorless systems. The lens mount is made out of metal, as it should be, from pretty much all E-Mount lenses. The lens itself is made out of high quality plastic and metal, and the focusing ring is pretty smooth. I think it's the smoothest out of all my Sony E-Mount lenses. It could have a bit more resistance, but it's fine how it is. Taking off the lens cap, you can see the front element and the aperture blades. So overall, the lens has a very good build quality and made in Japan. The lens hood is made out of high quality plastic and it fits tightly onto the lens. The filter thread size on the lens is 52mm, but that's not really a common filter size. I do have a 67mm filter that I just popped into the lens hood, and the way that the lens hood is designed makes it easy to do that. The build quality is very good for the price of the lens, and it feels very sturdy. The lens looks pretty nice on a Sony a6000, and I'd say the lens is a bit heavy, but I'm not going to be using it one-handed, so two hands and it's perfect. The autofocus on the lens is pretty good. It's fast enough to track moving subjects, maybe like walking, but it's not as fast as the kit lens on the 16 to 50mm. The Sigma hunts in low light, and in good light it's faster, but it can still hunt sometimes, and it's not as snappy as the kit lens. The autofocusing motor is quite noisy, and this wouldn't be a good lens for shooting autofocus on video. I'm here at Volcanoes National Park, and I'm going to be testing out the Sigma 30mm 1.4 DN lens for the Sony E-Mount system. So it's sunrise here, and the full moon is setting, so I'm going to try to capture some images with that lens. And see how well it does for landscape photography. So I'm going to do a sharpness test. I'm going to ramp up from f1.4 to see how the sharpness and vignetting is at the biggest aperture all the way to the small apertures. So it's a very sharp lens, and I wouldn't hesitate to use it for landscape photography. I did a portrait shoot for an athlete using this lens, and the moment I looked at the back of the screen and zoomed in 100%, I was like, whoa, this is sharp. Very impressed using it for portrait work. It's great for full body length portraits and group shots, not so much for closer portraits, as it is a bit wide and you will get a little bit of distortion. So group shots and full body portraits are a good choice for this lens. An important part of a lens for shooting portraits is the quality of the bokeh, or the out of focus renditions. So I'd say it's pretty good, but not great. So there is some chromatic aberration on the background blur. The out of focus blur isn't the smoothest, but it's good enough for portrait work and good for the price. One thing I really wanted to test out on this lens is night shooting. So I did get a clear night and I tested it out by shooting the Milky Way and other stars. So at f1.4 I'm getting a bit of vignette, but the stars are decently sharp. I am getting some coma. So the coma is the wing-shaped stars in the corners. It's not too bad. One thing I didn't like is I'm getting these weird chromatic aberrations on the bright stars. Shooting at f2 is probably the sweet spot for night photos because the whole frame overall gets a sharpness boost. There's a bit less coma and chromatic aberration, and the vignette is largely eliminated. At f2.8, the corner stars and center are pretty sharp. The coma is almost gone, and those chromatic aberrations around the stars, they're almost gone too. So shooting at f2.8 is really good, but that's not too much light going into the camera because already I'm shooting this lens at 10 seconds. That's not a whole lot of light I'm capturing. I have no problem using this at f1.4 because it's collecting a lot of light and the image quality isn't degrading that much by using it wide open. This one night of shooting totally justified my purchase, and I was very happy with the lens. For Milky Way shots, night shots, and landscape photography. So the sharpness is pretty good for night photography, and I really like the focal length. The longer lens, it renders the Milky Way a lot larger than a wide angle lens. I really like this lens and I enjoy using it for landscape photography and portrait photography. The sharpness is very good and the build quality is good too. It has a few problems with chromatic aberration and a bit of vignetting, but nothing that's going to stop me from capturing the images I want to capture. Thanks for watching this video, and if you found this review useful and you're thinking about buying this lens, please use the link below to Amazon to purchase this lens. It'll really help me out by giving me a cut.